Ever wondered why you behave the way you do in relationships? It might have more to do with your attachment style than you think. Welcome to the fascinating world of psychology, where we untangle the complexities of human behavior. Today, we're diving into the realm of attachment styles. These are patterns of how we think, feel, and act in relationships, shaped by our early experiences with caregivers. There are four main types: secure, anxious, avoidant, and disorganized. Each offers a unique lens on how we perceive and respond to intimacy and closeness. The secure style is characterized by comfort with intimacy and trust. The anxious style involves craving closeness but fearing rejection. The avoidant style prefers independence, often distancing themselves in relationships. Lastly, the disorganized style reflects inconsistency, with behaviors that can seem confusing and contradictory. Stick around to discover the unique characteristics of each style and perhaps identify your own. This is an introduction to the four main attachment styles, and part one of our 5-part series. Subscribe to get notifications on when our follow-up videos come out. Use our time-stamped key moments in the description below. We've broken the video down into chapters, so that you can easily follow along or skip to a section that is of interest to you. Our attachment styles have a profound impact on how we perceive and react to the world around us. These styles, formed in our earliest relationships, serve as blueprints for how we approach connections and intimacy throughout our lives. Let's start with the secure attachment style. Those with this style tend to have a positive view of themselves and their partners. They feel comfortable with intimacy and independence, balancing the two in a healthy way. This makes them more likely to have stable, satisfying relationships, and they tend to handle stress and conflict with grace. Next up is the anxious attachment style. Individuals with this style crave closeness and intimacy, but they're often plagued by fear of rejection or abandonment. They may be perceived as clingy or overly dependent, as their need for validation can lead them to seek constant reassurance from their partners. Then we have the avoidant attachment style. These folks value their independence above all else and often shun closeness or emotional intimacy. They may be perceived as emotionally distant or unresponsive, as they tend to suppress their feelings and avoid vulnerability. Lastly, there's the disorganized attachment style. This is a bit of a wild card, as these individuals have a mix of behaviors from both the anxious and avoidant styles. They desire closeness but are afraid of it at the same time, leading to confusing and unpredictable behaviors. Each of these styles affects not only our romantic relationships, but also how we interact with friends, family, and even colleagues. They shape our expectations, our reactions, and our emotional landscape. They can influence whether we approach relationships with openness and trust or with fear and apprehension. But remember, attachment styles are not set in stone. They're just patterns of behavior that we've learned over time. And like any pattern, they can be unlearned or reshaped. Next, we will delve into each style individually, providing characteristics, behaviors, and examples. This will help you recognize your own attachment style and understand how it impacts your interactions and relationships. Let's unravel the mystery of the 4 attachment styles. Understanding these styles can be a key to unlocking our behaviors and emotions, and even improving our relationships. Firstly, we have the secure attachment style. This style is often seen in individuals who are comfortable with intimacy and are not afraid to depend on others or have others depend on them. They're generally happy, content, and have a positive view of themselves and others. A real-life example could be someone who easily forms close bonds with others, who is not afraid to express their feelings, and who is able to trust and feel trusted. Next, we have the anxious attachment style. This style is characterized by a desire for closeness, but an equally strong fear of rejection or abandonment. These individuals are often preoccupied with their relationships and may even act out in ways to get attention and reassurance. Imagine a friend who constantly needs reassurance that they're loved and valued, who worries excessively about their relationships, and who might become overly dependent. Our third style is the avoidant attachment style. This one is a bit of a paradox. These individuals desire a level of intimacy but are uncomfortable getting too close to others. They value independence and often suppress their feelings, maintaining a certain emotional distance. Think of someone you know who avoids deep conversations, who seems aloof or detached, and who values their freedom and independence above all else. Finally, we have the disorganized attachment style. This is a rather complex style, characterized by a lack of clear attachment behavior. These individuals often display a mix of behaviors and may seem disoriented, unpredictable, and chaotic. They might fluctuate between being overly clingy and pushing others away. This could be someone who has difficulty trusting others, who experiences frequent mood swings, and who struggles with managing their emotions. Each of these styles is deeply ingrained, often formed during our early childhood years, and they can have a profound impact on our relationships. But remember, no style is inherently good or bad. They are just different ways in which we relate to and interact with the world around us. And here's the thing, understanding your attachment style is not about labeling yourself or others. It's about gaining insight into your patterns of behavior, your emotional responses, and your relationship dynamics. It's about understanding why you might react in a certain way in certain situations and using that understanding to grow and evolve. So, take a moment to reflect. Do you see yourself in one of these styles? Or perhaps a mix of them? It's important to remember that we are complex beings, and we might not fit neatly into one category or another, and that's perfectly okay. What matters is that we strive to understand ourselves better, and in doing so, improve our relationships with others. Ready for the big reveal. How these styles impact our interactions with others and our relationships is up next. Now, let's see how these attachment styles play out in our relationships. Attachment styles are like the undercurrents of our interactions, subtly influencing how we connect, communicate, and care for others. If you're securely attached, you're likely to have balanced relationships. You're comfortable with intimacy and independence, oscillating smoothly between the two. You're able to express your needs and understand your partners. You trust easily, but not blindly. On the other hand, if you lean towards an anxious attachment style, your relationships can feel like emotional roller coasters. You crave closeness and intimacy, but often feel that your partner does not care enough. You worry excessively about your relationships and find it hard to focus on other areas of life when things are rocky on the love front. Then there are those with an avoidant attachment style. You value your independence and often see intimacy as a threat to your freedom. You may struggle to share your feelings and needs, often creating distance in your relationships. You're self-reliant, but at times at the cost of deep, meaningful connections. Lastly, if you have a disorganized attachment style, your relationships can be quite unpredictable. You desire close relationships, but once you have them, you struggle to feel safe within them. You may behave erratically, being warm and loving one moment, and distant and cold the next. All these attachment styles have their strengths and weaknesses. Securely attached individuals often have stable and satisfying relationships. Anxious individuals, with their deep capacity for intimacy, can form profound emotional connections. Avoidant individuals' self-reliance can lead to successful personal and professional lives. And disorganized individuals, with their resilience, can navigate complex emotional landscapes. Understanding how these styles play out in relationships can be enlightening, helping us identify patterns and work towards healthier dynamics. It isn't about labeling ourselves or others, but about gaining insights to foster understanding, empathy, and growth. All these styles have their strengths and weaknesses. Recognizing them is the first step towards healthier relationships. Understanding your attachment style is key to improving your relationships. Let's do a quick recap. Secure, anxious, avoidant, and disorganized. These are the 4 main attachment styles, each with its unique set of characteristics, behaviors, and effects on relationships. A secure attachment style denotes comfort with intimacy and independence, fostering healthy relationships. An anxious style, on the other hand, is marked by a desire for closeness coupled with fear of abandonment. The avoidant style signifies discomfort with closeness, often leading to emotional distance in relationships. Lastly, the disorganized style can be a bit tricky, as it involves a mix of behaviors, often resulting from past traumas. Recognizing your attachment style isn't about labeling or limiting yourself. Instead, it's about understanding your emotional patterns and how they influence your interactions. It's about creating conscious, fulfilling relationships based on empathy and understanding. What's your attachment style? Share your thoughts in the comments below and consider watching our follow-up videos to today's video, where we delve deeper into each of the 4 main attachment styles. Like and subscribe to join us on a journey of discovery as we seek to understand the fundamental aspects of human behavior, emotions, cognition, and relationships. Stay curious, and until next time.